lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Manny.
And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite books. I think it started in 2021, but it overlapped into 2022. Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. One of my favorite books in a long time. Actually, I don't think we've done much Daniel Warren Johnson on here except for Do a Powerbomb. But I'm an absolute fan of his stuff. Everything he does, it's an instant buy for me. I have the singles. I double dipped. I picked up the trade from him because he actually was out here at a con, which is rare. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him in he's at WonderCon, so it's not really LA, it's LA adjacent. But so I picked up the trade because I wanted to read it again. It's, sometimes it's easier just to grab this off the shelf, but so good.
Yeah, I forgot how good the series was. I mean, I read so many comics, it's hard to keep them all in your head. But like when I finished reading this again, I was just like, and there was a reason it was one of my favorite titles that year, because like it really does start strong and it does not get weak at all. I think every issue is great. There's like a lot of great moments. It's very heartfelt, like all the stuff that he does, and as much as it is filled with heart and actual story, it also has some badass action in it, man. Like, and what's funny is that reading this post Do a Powerbomb, I start to see, like, I think how he must have sort of been getting into wrestling at this time because of the way some of the fights are choreographed.
Well, I think is he working on it at the same time? I feel like he said that when we.
Yeah, you did. He did. You're right.
But like there's like stuff like that, right? Like.
Yeah, and there's he suplexes somebody at one point. You know what I mean? Like when.
So his fighting in his comics are phenomenal, dude. But I love, it opens up. This is set during Donny Cates' Thor run.
Yeah.
I
know. We've talked about Donny Cates before.
No. His Thor run. I mean, I think that the thing that I've talked about in terms of letting series breathe when you have an epic run end, give it a little break before you jump into the next thing.
Yes, I agree with.
And I just think it's funny that happened on two different runs, both with Jason Aaron's Thor and Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk. Donny Cates jumped in immediately. Like the next month was his issue. And I think it's also not fair to the next creative team, because you're especially when you're doing something like he didn't do something drastic with Thor. It seemed like he kind of just ignored some of the stuff that happened at the end and like changed stuff immediately. But that's whatever. That's a conversation at a time. I love Daniel Warren Johnson's, like, the detail he puts in his technology. That's something that always stands out to me. But the thing with this is, like, Thor's going through it. Beta Ray Bill lost his fucking hammer, and
because of Thor.
Yeah, and he's stuck in this form, his Beta Ray Bill form. Obviously, like, he feels a certain type of way about that, and you see that throughout the issue, because like he wants to be able to change back. I love this when he's going with Lady Sif and like leading the people of Asgard.
I mean,
this is such fucking great comics, dude. Like,
yeah, he's fighting like a fucking like Fing Fang Foom that's like all like King in Blacked out, like I that's one thing I really did love about the King in Black, was like the way they would do things like this with characters, like that was clever. And it's basically what like Fing Fang Foom like with a fucking symbiote, like fucking fighting on Asgard. I mean, who doesn't want to read anything like that?
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal, dude. And I mean, he's fucking eating people, blood squirting out. Like, it's not a violent comic, but it's got its
by Marvel
moments,
standards. It is, like I would say by Marvel standards it is. And like, so
Die Black Dragon too. Look at that fucking shit. It's like,
the action. Sick.
I mean, this is just him fucking having a blast. You can tell, like, obviously, like, you have to have an affinity for this character. There's certain characters where, like, not just anybody can do it or will want to do it. And he had an idea for Beta Ray Bill for a while, and gets the call. They let him do it, and I think he did such a great book. It's clear that he has a love for the Walt Simonson Thor era.
Yeah, I was
and he even has an interview in the back of the trade. I think it was in the back of issue 1 too.
It is.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. You know, like that he got to interview the creator of Beta Ray Bill, and like they go back and forth talking about him. But I love this that you know, the battle's been won. Thor is fucking over there schmoozing with the fucking
The rest of the yeah,
yeah, you
Guardians.
know, the
They're
women. Though I was gonna call
yeah.
them wenches, but you know, that's I'm not gonna call them that. But anyways, so
Thor
that
being
happens,
Thor,
and then
yeah.
there's this thing with Sif. I don't remember necessarily that they had a relationship, but I feel like when I went back and read the Simonson stuff, that it was kind of there. It was implied a little bit, you know, like that they had a thing for each other. You know, the endorphins are going from battle. They go into the room, and he can't change back. You know,
Yeah.
she's like, "Don't you change back?" And like, he's like, "Oh, I thought you knew." And like, my hammer's broken, so I can't. So you just see him. I think this is such a great moment. She's just like right here where she's in the bed and she's like, oh, and he just stands there, looks at himself in the mirror. He leaves, and she's clearly upset for him. He's upset, and we get the flashback, and we see how, you know, this experimentation that happened on him by
That
his
scene is
own
very
people.
poignant, man. Like it's like it's a good example of, like, we were just talking about all the amazing action that Daniel Warren Johnson is doing here. But see, he also nails these little quiet moments, like when he looks in the mirror and he's like, "Sif, please, I understand. I'm not blind." You know what I mean? Like it's heartbreaking, man. Like
He also does a good job of using Beta Ray Bill's face, but conveying emotion. Because to me, like
yeah,
that face can be very
good point,
stiff,
man.
can be very stiff looking. You know, I mean, like to me, it doesn't look like. I get why they say it's like horse face, but it doesn't. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it
really
looks more like
remind
an
me of.
alien. I guess he's long faced, but
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. He doesn't look like a horse, but yeah, I think he does such a great job with the eyes and stuff, and like just seeing the heartbreak and the sadness in this. And then you see Scuttlebutt, his ship.
I love Scuttlebutt, dude. And this, like, one of my favorite things, the design of the ship. It's very like, you see the Mobius kind of influence, I think, and also
Mhm.
Walter Simonson as well.
Yeah.
Like, and just like, like European comics in general. Like, one of the things I love best, I don't know if it's in, I think it's in issue 2, is like the sort of die cut image of the ship where, like, you're seeing like all the levels of
Oh
it.
yeah, 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 for sure. But before, like, as we wrap up issue one, what I like is that it's a 5 issue series. Obviously, you have to have Thor in this book because he's a Thor adjacent character. But you get rid of Thor in the beginning because, like, Bill, you know, he comes out, he's like, "Where are you going, Bill?" And he's like, "Any away, any every far away from here." And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "How could you not know?" You know, and he just calls him out, and he's like, I have no control over what I do. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, it's you destroyed my fucking hammer. You know, like, you're the reason that I'm in this situation. You know, like, and I'm just, all he says is, like, he's reminded of his failures when he's here, and he has to go make himself beautiful again. So like this book, like, and we talked about, like, with Daniel Warren Johnson, whereas it's obviously it's superhero comics, or it's wrestling comics, or it's Murder Falcon, or it's Wonder Woman. But whatever he does, he always has like that type of emotional like core to it. And this is
uh
all about Beta Ray Bill's self-worth, like, well, how he feels about himself. And the fact that when he looks at himself, he doesn't see beauty when he's in this form. And so he has this, like, it's like self-esteem issue. And I just think
yeah,
it's so crazy to think about that, you know, like that on the surface you're looking at a superhero comic and this dude just wants to find his hammer, but that's not
yeah.
what it's about. You know, it's about
Yeah,
him
it's almost
feeling good
about
about
body
himself.
dysmorphia and like all these other things, man.
And I love when it switches, because it's like it's not all hand lettered, but when you go into the ship, like you see it at the end of issue one, like you can this is Daniel Warren Johnson. I think it's him hand lettering, or it's Mike Spicer. I mean, I guess it probably is Spicer. It feels to me more like part of drawn. Oh no, okay, I'm right. I'm sorry, Mike Spicer is colorist. Joe
Yeah,
Sabino is letters, and then it also says Daniel Warren Johnson letters. And I think that refers to not just the sound effects and onomatopoeias. It also is in terms of like the lettering on the art, you know, because it's
yes,
part of it. It's not word balloons. And then yeah, the scuttlebutt scene,
yeah, in
that's
issue 2.
just, I love when
I
they do stuff like that.
I also love that we have Pip the Troll in here.
Mhm.
Like he's a fun character.
I
One
just
thing I
think
noticed I didn't remember from is, like, Beta Real Bill is always watching Hook. like it's on the TV,
Oh yeah, I
like in
was
the
gonna mention
background,
that.
yeah, like I was like, that's something. If I had remembered,
Yeah, I wish I would have
I would
asked
like to.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's the deal with Hook? I was trying to think of thematics and like I guess maybe like it's sort of like in Hook how Peter Pan is trying to regain something he had before. Like maybe that's why Beta Ray Bill would be watching this movie all the time. He feels like a connection to it. Like
Regaining a confidence, regaining you know, who he was.
who he was. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, that makes
it's an
sense.
interesting choice. Yeah, and
Yeah,
like it's like a lot of people don't even talk about Hook, so I think it was cool that of all the movies in the world that you can use in a story to sort of like help you with yours, like Hook, like probably one of the least popular Spielberg movies. But I do love Hook. I think it's a good movie, so I like that little tidbit, and it kind of gives Beta Ray Bill like a nice like an extra little bit of characterization. Like those little details are what make a character like come to life, and Daniel Warren Johnson is also very good at that.
yeah. I like Scourge
But
being in the book, and
fucking
he's
yes,
like
I
he's
do,
like I thought
bro.
you died. He's like, yeah, I finally made my way to Valhalla, but there's one problem with that place. There are no guns.
Yeah,
And
I love his portrayal of Scourge, man. Like
oh, dude, it's great. It's such a great like buddy team up that I didn't know I wanted to see. Like
yes,
I
dude.
wish that I don't know if Daniel Warren Johnson wants to do another one, but if he were to do another one, I hope he brings Scourge back. And I don't know why, but the fact that he's like, Bill's wearing a hat, a baseball hat. I don't know why that just makes me laugh because like why is
Also,
he
he's playing ping
wearing a hat?
pong. Like
Yeah, but yeah, it's just fucking great, and like the fight scene that happens in this bar, it's next. I already showed these pages, but it's just next level, dude. Like
yeah,
there's so much Kirby in that punch to me.
dude. Yeah, there's a lot of Kirby in this series in general. Like he's pulling from
Fucking
like the Walters.
Odin,
Dude, Odin looks like
like a
the
biker.
oldest badass biker you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like carrying a fucking coming. I also love the little details with Odin. Like, yeah, they let me brew beer in the back that helps him pass the time. Like there's something he does here with all these over the top characters and the way he's writing them so down to earth that it's dude, it's very well done. Like it's hard to identify with characters like this on a certain level because they're fucking gods and aliens and like robots. But he writes them in a way where they seem like real people.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, look, Odin's not the all father. Well, I mean, he still calls him all father, but Thor's king now. Odin's
Yeah.
not, and this is post War of the Realms. You don't need to know that stuff. I guess it helps because you'd be like, why is Odin in this situation? But whatever, that's besides the point. But I love when he's like, spare me the platitudes, all father. I've been fighting
Yeah.
by your and your son's side for years. Never have I asked you anything. And he's just like, I need a hammer. And he tells him where to go, Muspelheim, and fucking. So then we jump, and now he's got to deal with fucking Searcher, and
Yeah.
fucking the blade of in Twilight, that big ass blade's coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
Just so good, dude. And I love that
Yeah.
people would, if you watch the Thor movies, you would know who he is because like Thor fights him in, I think it's the beginning of
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it opens. Yeah. He's like in the I think he's in the fucking hell realm, at the beginning of the movie.
And I love that the relationship that Bill has with Scuttlebutt. Like he's talking like, "Do you remember the first time we faced her?" And then it's like, "I do. It's hard to forget." And it's the fucking ship is just destroyed, and now like they got to go do it again. And I love this. He's constantly. I don't want to say he's not confident in himself, but he's constantly like just like you see him upset and fucking like not what you would think of this like super powerful being, like how he would be acting.
He's very like morose and melancholy.
Yeah.
Like to me, like he's a character that's suffering from depression, and like he's just trying to figure his way out of it. It's he really does bring a lot of characterization and depth to Beta Ray Bill. Like I really connected with that when I was reading it the second time. Where I guess the first time I was so like enthralled and like you know reading it from month to month and like more focused on the art and action. Like reading it in one fell swoop, I realized like how much care he's put into portraying Beta Ray Bill, and like how much emotion there is behind it, and like how he's almost made the character his own with the series. You know,
I agree. Yeah.
like he's gonna be he's to me is like he's probably after Walter Simonson, who created the character. I think he's a person who's handled him best since.
Yeah, there's a page in here right after that, what I was talking about, where he talks about, do you remember the first time we fought Surtur?
Yeah,
And there's three particular panels that, like, he's like, I spent so much time with the gods, I forgot that I was only a horse-faced mortal. And the ship's like, don't say that, Beta Ray. He's like, was I a fool to try and befriend God? Should I have just left, continued on my journey? Looking back, I realize how alone I have been. Look at me, Scuttlebutt. I never deserved to be in a house of gods. And it's just like, I mean, it goes further, but it's just like, it's these kind of moments in the book that just make you, like connect with the character in a way that I don't think, like, I've read other I think there's a few Beta Ray Bill miniseries in like mid 2000s. I think Michael Avon Oeming wrote one, which is really good, but I feel like this is like my favorite version of Beta Ray Bill. And then I mean,
yeah, dude. That there's some amazing double page spreads in here, and like full page spreads. Like he really is going for
this,
some epic imagery. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean almost every page has something beautiful on it,
and I
and
love
like I love
Scuttlebutt is given sentence. Yeah, and it's
the
a woman.
introduction of Scuttlebutt. Yeah, and I love her design too. You know, again, it's yeah, dude. When she turns the fucking ship into the spaceship into an actual ship, you know, like
Form, or no, it says transform,
yeah,
sploosh. Yeah, that's dope. And then of course, like, I don't know why this made me laugh, but what do they do, dude? They play a game of ping pong. Like,
which he was playing earlier, you know. Yeah, yeah, again, it's like what a great little detail. It's just it it makes them more human, you know, which is what which is in a weird way is what the story's about, because like when you look at it, like you can almost say that Scuttlebutt is going through their own art in this, you know, and like it parallels Beta Ray Bills, is where like they're trying to like I guess achieve like their true self actualization, or like their true like identity.
and I love
And
that, they love Bill, and they fucking form this like axe, right? Like from their own body, and like hand
yeah,
it to him, and then the fucking insane, dude, just these like two opposing panels right here, like Bill with the fucking axe and Scourge just with the
oh dude,
fucking.
yeah, that is awesome. I love this image of Scourge too with the fucking double guns.
Oh yeah.
I love Scourge, man, especially the way he's writing him. Prepare to eat lead demons. Like I love that Scourge is just like he's having a blast. Like, like everyone else is like a little morose, Pip's go dealing with his shit. Beta Ray Bill is kind of like, but Scourge is just like, yeah, I just want to fucking kill things and fight. And, like, God, I miss this when he's like fighting. Like,
Yeah, and I love that they go back, like they're showing flashbacks of him. Like this is Thor back in the day, like during the Simonson run, right?
yes,
Where they're fighting. And then this part, dude, where they're experimenting on him.
dude,
That is,
there is, yeah, that was a very like striking image, and like a very like intense moment. Like you said it earlier, like it's pretty violent, like probably about as gory and as like, yeah, dude. I mean,
like,
this
this
thing
just
is
makes
just
me want this, like this book, reading it again. I'm just like, man, give this dude a Star Wars book, you know?
yes. And also, this book needs a treasury size edition.
I
I
was
think this.
mad, dude. I was mad. I'm like, for sure they're getting this. I mean, they did fucking Donny Cates and Tradmore Silver Surfer Black. But
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
why didn't they do
Which this
this?
is similar to that in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it's to me, it's the same kind of miniseries where you're giving a creator like
They
full range. Like
they did
they do it with.
fucking they did it with that Marvel, that Alex Ross curated that book where it was like an anthology book. Like, why?
And
I don't understand
they've
why
done
you
it with
wouldn't do
all of
this.
black, red, white books and all that stuff too. So like, why not? I get it. You don't want to do that for every collection because like you really don't need it for like
No,
the
but
regular stuff.
this book lends itself to an oversized. And you know what?
So,
I'm not even saying it, but like Mike Spicer's coloring, dude.
dude,
Like
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah, and it's worth mentioning too that Daniel Warren Johnson pretty much exclusively uses Mike Spicer. Like they've been working together for many years, for many series, and it looks like that's just a partnership that's going to keep on going, you know. And
I know I'm just like literally showing the art, but I just feel like I can't. This is a book we should have done like overhead, but like whatever, you know. So good.
yeah, yeah,
Every
it's
page, every fucking page of this book is just something else. It's just such a great comic. This is like, and I'm kind of upset that more people weren't talking about it, even when it was
I
coming
was
out.
about to mention that, bro. I think you were reading. It's like you read my mind sometimes. Like I feel like Marvel didn't give this the the attention that it deserves. You know what I mean? Like in marketing, dude. When she creates, when Scuttlebutt like creates that enormous gun, dude, I thought that was awesome. You
Yeah,
know, like
like look at like right here too. It's like forming the gun from the, it's like,
yeah,
and I it's like
that
I could hear the
yeah,
like
that
the
reminded me of like Akira in a way, like when like Tetsuo was like making like his arm and like you know, like obviously there's a manga influence. Yeah, dude. I mean,
to me it
turning the
like I
book on
heard
its
like
side.
it was like the Transformers changing in the movie. Like that's what I
Yes,
was
like
hearing.
yeah, yeah. Fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one of my issues with Marvel is that like I feel like sometimes they don't get behind these kind of books as much as they do like the big crossover events. And yeah, I get it, you know what I mean? Because those other books are gonna be what sells in the moment. But I think if you push this a book like this and you print it or you know you come out with like a oversized treasury edition, like these are the kind of books that will truly be evergreen. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and the focus should be on this kind of stuff. Like we've talked about it before, like when we've talked about Clobber in Time, another series that's like you know like sort of like very specific for a creator. Like those are the projects I think that Marvel should be doing more of. You know, because like
I mean, they
it's
obviously pushed this book because they thought it would do well. Or I mean,
yeah
Marvel's not in the business of just like
right. Yeah, they're not gonna
letting people do whatever they want, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, you can do it. Like they asked him, you know, like they came back to him because he said he had wanted to do it and it never happened. And like obviously he started getting more of a momentum with his career in terms of like, well, this was, I think Wonder Woman Dead Earth came first.
yeah it did.
And obviously DC kind of let him do what he wanted to do also. And I think that that was a big book. But again, I don't know in terms of like, I know in terms of the store I worked at what sold, you know, but I know that Beta Ray Bill, I had to hand sell to
And
people to
sell it.
get,
Yeah.
because it's not a character that people know, you know.
No.
But
Yeah.
this is like so great too, is the end with you know, the last scene, well, not the last scene in Hook, but the scene where you
There you
know, the
are,
little
Peter.
boy's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know, so it's
Like
like
pushing on his face and yeah.
takes the glasses off because they're like they don't recognize him. It's that scene when it's the scene when like Rufio is like telling him
Now I
like,
think I
oh,
want to watch
you're
Hook
not the
very
pan.
soon.
You're not the pan. Well, my kid loves it. So like she would, there was a period where she was putting out on almost every single day. So like I know that fucking I want to get the comic adaptation. That's what I think
You know
Charles
what, dude?
Vest did the
I
art on
think
it.
I have one or two of those issues somewhere in my boxes.
I have
Like, because
one issue. I only have one issue, but I really
that
want to
was that
get
period when Marvel was doing crazy
everything.
movie adaptations. You know what I mean? Like it was like early '90s, I guess. You like I remember the Hook comic very specifically. Like I remember
Yeah.
buying it on the newsstand and
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that as a video, to be honest with you,
I wouldn't
because
either.
I love that movie. That movie to me, like a lot of people are divisive on it. Like not everybody likes it, but it's like one of
I
my
like it.
favorites.
I think it'd be fun to do a couple of videos on the different movie adaptations Marvel back in the day because some of them are pretty good, man.
Yeah, look,
They
I
did
mean,
a,
I
they did
want
a
to do that.
RoboCop 2 one
I
with
want
one
to
of
do
the.
the Demolition Man one that I picked up the issues for.
Oh fuck, dude! Yeah, I'll find those issues online and buy them if you want to do
They're
that.
not
Because
cheap, just so you know. I had to piece it out. I had to piece it out with multiple sellers so that I could get the best.
how much was it in the end? I don't think I get it at this out, but
I think it was like $30.
that's not too bad.
I
That's
mean,
not
it's
too bad.
more than it
Yeah,
should be. Let's be real.
yeah. I mean,
That
it's more
should
than I would
be,
want to spend on a Demolition Man comic, but
you know,
I
like
actually
that
saw
should
the movie
be.
recently, and like I think it's a fun movie.
I like that movie. It should be in dollar bins, and I'm sure that if I really wanted to over time, I probably could have found it. But I was like, it was after we did that Superman 4 adaptation where
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do more. And then I started looking them up, and I'm like, oh my god, they made a Demolition Man one, and it was a 4 issue mini series. I have to buy this, and I haven't read
they
it yet
did
because I'm
Dark Man.
saving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but anyways,
Anyway,
Beta
we're
Ray
getting off
Bill.
topic.
Beta
Yeah.
Ray Bill is such a good book. I think every like comic book fan can find something in this, whether you know the character or you don't. I think it's a good intro to him. I don't. It's not bogged down by telling you redoing the origin. It has little snippets of his past to kind of like let you know why he is the way he is. But and Daniel Warren Johnson is just a phenomenal creator. Everything he does has been just like, to me, like, chef's kiss, dude. It's just like great, perfect comics. So
I wanted two things. Like I love when Beta Real Bill's back, like the way he's dressed is like very kind of metalish. He's almost got like a denim vest. It's not a denim vest, but it's like the look is very like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and that's just Daniel Warren Johnson. And also I wanted to get your like what the last panel to me is like very powerful. You got Pip here healing and he says, "I'm happy for you, Bill. You got what you wanted. You're whole again." And then when he looks in the mirror, he sees like the reflection of like his like horse form. It's like is he totally fulfilled? Is like is he happy? It's very
I
to
think
me it
it's
seems
very
like
it's very ambiguous. It's
yes that's
I think that he's not fully, to me, yes, outwardly he feels like he's like that, right? But inwardly I think he's still not.
there's something lacking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like there's
like
something
he's not
lacking
fully
in him.
satisfied.
Yeah, he hasn't. Because I mean, to me, if I were, you would see that he and the expression on the reflection doesn't seem happy. Like you said earlier, how good he is at getting emotions from Beta Real Bill's face. Like it looks very like melancholy. Like I think there was some progression made on Bill's part as a person. I he realized certain things about himself, but I don't think he's gone to where like he will be truly happy. Which brings back the point that you said earlier. Like I would love to see him continue this story and tell like another chapter in his version of Beta Real Bill. Maybe even continue this with Scuttlebutt. Like I almost felt like there was like a relationship brewing between Scuttlebutt and Bill. And yeah, Scuttlebutt's a robot, but they are sentient. And who knows what going through like the different dimensions, gave them some sort of way to have emotions. And I think she does care very deeply for Bill, and like maybe this is the person he's supposed to be with, someone who's been with him the whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Tinkerbell was with Pan and
Whoa,
Hook,
yeah,
you know?
that's a good point, and that parallels Hook again, man. Good point.
Yeah.
I would never would have thought of that. That's good.
Because that's the only time you've ever seen Tinkerbell in that way where she loved Peter,
Yeah,
And then she was
yeah,
finally able to like become human sized in there,
yeah.
right? And that's kind of like a little bit like this, where like
You're right.
Scuttlebutt can finally
It's funny.
become in a form.
Now I wish we had asked him about this
Yeah.
because like it seems like Hook is a very important movie to him and to the series.
Yeah. No, it'd be cool. I mean, I kind of wish we could have done like a creator commentary with him on this book, but we don't need to have two videos of the same thing. I mean, I don't know, maybe we'll see. But I would love to ask him about that because yeah, it's something that I forgot until I read it because I knew it when I read it the first time. It's not like I didn't
Hmm.
notice it. Of course, I noticed
Yeah,
it because
it's
I love
very
Hook.
obvious what movie it is. Like he
But
picks the scenes that are gonna tell you this is. You see Rufio. I mean, you know what it is.
yeah, I mean, well, maybe not everybody would know what it is, but people of
Yeah,
our
but
generation would know.
yeah,
But yeah, so like I think I just love this book. It's so good, and I definitely hope that we can get a chance to kind of like ask him about that kind of stuff because I'm seeing more and more correlations between the Hook story and what that story was really about, and then also what this is about, like finding your true self and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Because like Hook, what Peter thought he wanted wasn't what like he thought he wanted one thing and he ended up really needing another, and like I feel like that's what like Beta Real Bill wanted this because he thought it was the answer to everything, but maybe it's not. You know what I mean? Like maybe the true answer is right in front of him and he can't see it, which is a theme of Hook too. Like
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like there's like stuff that there's more threads that can be pulled on. But this is a great like one and done story also. Like I think
Mhm.
it leaves room for more, but it also ends in a good way. So yeah, if you haven't picked this up, go pick it up. Like you won't be nobody that's listening and watching, you won't be disappointed by this book.
No, it's a beautiful book. visually and story wise, thematic wise. Like again, you know, he knocked it out of the park, man. There's a reason DWJ is one of my favorite current creators, and like you said, I will if he's involved with the title, even like tangentially, you know, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I see his name in the credits, it gets pulled, you know, like hands down. And so far, he has not disappointed him with me in any project. You know, like I've enjoyed every project he's done. I think
No,
he's
same
been
for sure.
fantastic from the moment he put pen to paper that I saw.
Oh yeah. So everybody listening, watching, go pick up the book. Also check out the interview that Manny and I did with DWJ. That's also on the channel. And make sure you follow us. Links down below for both of us. And hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, so you're notified every time a new video goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Peace out, guys.